everyone! Welcome to the Decorative Den, a look inside my craft room where I share all things crafting, planning, and DIY. My name is Charity and I am so happy you're here today. This has been a video I have wanted to do for a long time now, so I am so excited that we're getting to it. So if you have seen any of my recent planner setups and flip throughs of them, you've probably noticed that I have a habit of setting up my planners starting with a mood board. So this is the current mood board I have in my A5 disc-bound planner, and I really love these. So I make these just using free stock images, and I think they are the perfect way to show kind of the color story and theme of a planner setup. So here's some others that I've made. This is the one from my Christmas setup, and then I also have the one from my fall setup. So if you would like to see how I make these using free stock images and the free program Google Slides, then just keep watching. Okay, so switching over to my computer screen, the first step of making a mood board is finding the images that you want to use in your actual mood board. So there are a ton of websites that offer free stock photos. Two that I really like are Pexels, which I have here, and then the other is Unsplash. So whenever I sit down to make a mood board, the first thing I'll do is I'll go to one or both of these sites and just search terms related to either the theme of my setup or maybe the color that I'm focusing on. And so for today's mood board, I really want to make something that is planner themed. So I'm thinking like beautiful desk scenes with pretty planners and stationery. And I think I want to focus on the color pink. So as you can see, whenever you download an image, a little pop-up menu appears, and that just lets you know who the photographer was for that photo, and it gives you a chance to say thank you and donate to them, which I think is a really awesome feature of both of these sites. So I'll just continue through and I download pretty much any and every image that I think could possibly work for the theme of my mood board. Definitely don't be afraid to download way more photos than you would ever need. I find that it makes it way easier to have a lot of photos that you pare down versus not having enough and to continually have to search for more while you're creating the mood board. So I'll just continue this process on both sites. Like right now I've jumped over to Pexels and I'm searching pretty much the exact same terms that I searched on Unsplash. I find that different photographers will use each site, and so even with just searching the same exact terms, you'll still come up with a nice variety of images. Now, in addition to downloading images that have like a specific scene or item in them, the other thing I look for are photos that have either just a wash of color or some abstract or repeating pattern. So this pink brick is exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll show you when we make the mood board why I like these images, but just keep in mind it can be helpful to have a few of these just more general abstract washes of color. Now I'm searching pink fur right now, which seems a little random, I'm sure, but for this one, this mood board, I knew that I wanted some kind of fluffy or soft texture in the shade of pink, and so I thought pink fur might get it for me, but I ended up finding what I wanted just by searching pink. So now that I have all the images I want, it is time to move on to creating the mood board. And I'm going to do this in Google Slides. So this is a free program you can get with just signing up for a Gmail email account. You can then go into your Drive and open up a new Google Slides presentation. So I'll just go in and I delete these default text boxes that appear on the slide. And then I go to File, Page Setup. And I'm going to go down to Custom. And here you can see there's a variety of measurement options. I'm going to leave mine in inches, and I'm going to type in the height and width of the sheet of paper that I'm using in my planner. So I'm going to be making an A5 sized dashboard for my A5 disc bound. So I'll type in here the height and width of an A5 sheet of paper in inches. Then when I hit apply, it will change the size of my slide so that it is now the same size as an A5 piece of paper. The other thing I like to do is set up some guidelines. So I'm going to click on this left-hand side ruler and drag over one guideline. Once I do that, two other guidelines will kind of just snap into place. And so I'll just bring one of those to the right-hand side, another one to the top, and then I'm going to click on this ruler at the top of the page and drag down my fourth and final guideline. Now you can use the ruler to kind of place these where you'd like, but I find it easiest to just insert a little square shape and then go to Format Options, and in the Size and Rotation menu, make my square 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. I'll then take the square and I'll drag it to the top right corner of my page, making sure it's lined up with the edge of the paper. And then I can move my guidelines so that they touch the edges of my square, and that way I know each guideline is 1/4 inch away from the edge of the paper. I'll also do that with the bottom right-hand corner, and then for the left-hand side of my page, that is where I will be punching my mood board. So I want to make sure that that is 1/2 inch wide, so that way I have room for that punch. So I will just adjust my square and make it 1/2 inch wide by 1/4 inch tall, and again do the same thing, moving my guidelines to make sure that they are 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch away from the edge of my paper. Now, once the page is all set up, it is time to actually insert our photos. So you'll just go to Insert Images and Upload from Computer. And the screen capture program I'm using right now, as a privacy feature, doesn't show you this, but when you do that, it'll bring up your folders menu, and so you can get the images from whatever folder you have them saved in. And when doing this, I suggest uploading no more than like 10 or 12 photos at a time. So for this mood board, I downloaded so many photos, like over 30, I'm pretty sure. And I find that when I have that many images and I download them, when I upload them into Google Slides all at once, it tends to freeze and will give me error messages. So here's an example. Sometimes it'll freeze up or it'll show a message like that where some of the images weren't able to be uploaded. If that's the case, you certainly can go back and try to figure out which images did not make it successfully into Google Slides. I, however, when I have this many photos, just leave it up to fate. If it didn't make it into the program, then it's not making it into my mood board. So I'll just go through, and as I upload batches of images, I resize them and then kind of roughly sort them, just dragging them to either side of my paper, trying to pair similar desk scenes with one another or images with similar backgrounds, since that makes it easier when I'm trying to grab photos to arrange them on the paper. Now that I have all of my images uploaded into the program, I just start by picking a few that I know I want in my mood board, and I drag those onto my paper, kind of just roughly placing them in areas that I think they might work well in. And during this first phase, I don't really spend too much time placing them exactly in line with one another. Again, this is a really rough sort because I will in a second zoom in and spend more time making sure that all my photos are aligned with one another and placed exactly where I want them to be. All right, so once I have my first few images down, there are two main ways that I will more finely align them. So the first is what I'm doing here, which is just resizing my image. So that way the edges of that photo are in line with my guidelines and the other images around it. The other thing I will do is I will crop images. And to me, this is a total game changer. So I'm going to be cropping this photo right here that says today is your day. And to do that, I'll just click on the photo and then click on this crop icon. And that will bring up these black lines that you can then drag to crop a specific part of the photo. And I really like that in addition to allowing you to drag these crop lines, Google Slides still has your original image behind there, so you can also move and reposition your image within the cropped area, so that way you can make sure everything is centered exactly as you would like. And then to exit that crop, you can just click outside of the selected image anywhere on the screen, and there you have it. Now this image is cropped and I can move it and resize it just as I would with any other image. And like I said, this is definitely a game changer for me when making mood boards because I am no longer reliant on my images being the exact right dimensions to fit in a certain space, or maybe there's an element of a photo that I want to include or don't want to include. Because of the crop, I can really make these images do exactly what I need them to do and fit in the space that I need them to fit in. So here's a great example. This image, I really love these pink planners, but the red teacup is just a little bit too harsh, I think, for my color palette. So I can just crop that out and then resize my photo to fit my mood board the way I need it to. And now I will just resize and move these images and crop them a million times over. I find this part really fun, and to me it's like a puzzle, so I literally will spend hours doing this if you let me. I will spare all of you that and fast forward through some of these edits, since those are the main two ways that I edit my images to make them fit in the space. So my last mood board tip is for awkward spaces like this that I have here at the bottom of my page. It's kind of too narrow to put any kind of image in there that has like a scene or an item. And so these are the types of spaces that I use those repeating pattern or wash of color images for. So I'm just going to take this like fluffy pink texture and put it down here because this is an image that I can resize and crop, and it really doesn't matter what part of the image is showing. I'm not compromising the content of the image at all by fitting it to this kind of awkward space. And so that's why I definitely recommend always downloading just a couple of these because they fill these spaces so well. And I think they also add a really nice pop of color and texture and make the mood board really unique. So now that I have a good chunk of my mood board complete, I'm just going to go through and reevaluate the photos I have left, since some of them are very obviously not going to fit the color palette I have, or some of them have backgrounds that I've already used and I feel like I can skip over. So I'll just go through and delete some of those and kind of reorder everything so I can finish up my mood board. All right, now that all of my images are placed where I want them to be, I'm going to add kind of one final guide. And I'm going to do this by inserting another square shape. So I'm going to go to Insert, Shape, and then select the square. And just like before, I'm going to go to the Format menu and in the Size and Rotation menu, change the width and height of my box. And I'm going to make it the same height and width or just slightly less than the height and width of my sheet of paper. And then I want to change the fill and line for this as well. So I'm just going to go up here to the fill menu and select transparent, and the line menu, I'm going to select this mid-tone gray color. And then I'm going to place this box centered over my entire piece of paper, so that way the edges of the box line up with the edges of my paper. And this box serves as my final guidelines. So when I print my image, I will have that gray box outline as a guide to know where to cut, since I will be printing on letter size paper, and that way I can cut my page down very easily to fit the A5 mood board. Now there are two printing options here. If you go to the print preview menu, the first thing you can do is you can just print directly from Google Slides, and you would do that by just selecting the print icon here at the top. And as you can see in the generated preview, the only guidelines that are visible are those outside ones that we placed right at the end so we know where to cut. All of our other guidelines are invisible and are not a part of the final product. Now the other option is also to just download this as a PDF. This is a really nice option if you would like to save your mood board file to your computer. And then of course you can always print from the PDF file menu, which that is what I will be doing. So I will go in here and print my mood board so I can show you the finished product. All right, guys, and here is the finished product. Printed, cut, and punched. I absolutely love how this mood board turned out. I think it is super cute with all of the pastel pinks. It is perfect for spring and summer. Here I'll show you what it looks like actually in my planner. But I really hope you liked this video. I am really excited that I finally got to make this one for you, and I hope you feel inspired to make a mood board of your own. If you did like this video, please hit the like button for me so I know, and be sure to subscribe if you are interested in other crafting, planning, and DIY videos. Also, guys, I am super excited to announce I have started a new thing on my Instagram account. It is called First Friday Freebies, and so I am offering a free download each month, and it comes out the first Friday of each month. So this Friday, I will be offering this mood board as the freebie for the month of May, and I'm going to have it in a couple different sizes. So I will have it in the A5 size as well as half letter, because I know some people prefer that in their junior sized disc browns. I will also have it available for the mini happy planner and the micro happy planner. So be sure to head over to my Instagram. I will link it below so that way you can download a copy of this dashboard. But in general, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you are all well. Please stay safe, take care, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.